West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Six a.m. in the Mile High City. Hey, Broncos! New announcement. Big announcement.
Huge
Bill
announcements.
Thorpe.
Yeah, lots of questions, but yeah.
You got lots of questions. I think a lot of people got a lot of questions. But Broncos have their preferred site for a new stadium developed, Burnham Yard.
Yeah, probably one of the worst kept secrets in town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, after reading through all that, I'm like, Mayor Mike Johnston, Governor Polis, everybody a part of this decision.
Oh, yeah.
So, of
yeah,
course.
They had,
yeah.
and once they were buying land in that area, you're like, Yeah. And the fact that, and I understand the idea of people were talking that late in the process, Dove Valley area, and this was, were both top choices. And the question is, which one's going to be cheaper to build at? Yeah, that's going to be the Burnham Yard. Yeah, just hands down. And so that's, I think, what won out. I think Denver was able to persuade the Broncos they needed to stay inside the metro. And from there, you find the cheapest place that you can build. Yeah, so that is close to, because you've got to also make sure that it is close to light rail and other major public transportation.
Correct.
Because they're not building big parking lots. That parking lot that you see around Mile High right now, that will not be there in this new one. That is not part of the plan. They do not want you driving your vehicle to come and see the team. That is not the goal. That's not how the stadium's going to be built. So that's going to be interesting.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah, that's not how it's built.
Because part of going to a Broncos game is tailgating.
Now, there will be, from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, there is going to be a tailgating area. Absolutely. Because they understand how much that brings.
Right.
But that's...
And people will pay for it.
Yeah, but that's the issue, is it'll be paid for it. But the idea of these large parking lots where you just roll up and pay to get near the stadium and walk through the giant asphalt jungle, no, that won't be there. There's going to be permitted and or ticketed areas to go tailgating, but this idea of vast parking lots, that's not there. No, that's not this design at all, from what I'm hearing.
Wow, that's a bummer.
I don't know. It depends.
I know you're kind of a light rail rider.
Yeah, to get in and out of
but-
there, because it's just it's a hassle to get in and out, but it's a hassle to ride the light rail as well. So we'll have to see. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're a 23-year-old Ukrainian woman. All right, we've got a lot to talk about, including the Broncos' preferred site coming out yesterday. We'll get into that. We also have the Maha report, strategy report coming out from the White House. We've got Barb Kirkmeyer, candidate for Colorado governor, will be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Steve Reams, Weld County Sheriff. Dude got retweeted by Elon Musk yesterday.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nice.
It finally got some attention. We've learned what gets Jared Polis' attention. Fame and fortune. Us lowly voters. Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. No, not in the least.
Kim Kardashian or Elon Musk finally will get Jared Polis' attention. We've got a whole lot to cover. Now, though, it's time for news and comment. Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. Hump Day 57 and clear in Denver. Expecting a high of 90 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story. Oh, yeah. DJT goes to Joe Seafood last night with VP JD and Marco Rubio. And the nut jobs make their way into the restaurant to compare the president to Hitler again. More on the president in a second. But the big news around here, of course, the city and county of Denver promising a public process to determine the future of Mile High, the old one. I'm not even going to say the corporate name. Sorry, I don't do that. Mile High Stadium. Plans for a new Broncos stadium. Now, a dome with a retractable roof, which is huge at Burnham Yard, means that the current stadium would close at the end of the 2030 NFL season and be returned to city ownership. Mayor Johnston says the current stadium will likely be torn down, but called that a chance to reimagine what might be possible on the 80-acre site. The mayor's office says the planning process will begin next year and include input from the West Denver community. And based on what I just heard from Billy, maybe they should make it a parking lot. And then everyone can tailgate over there and then walk under the bridge. I don't like the fact that there's not going to be a lot of parking there. What you were just discussing, I didn't even hear about that. So interesting. Authorities in Larimer County believe they've found the body of the missing paddleboarder. The search began Sunday afternoon at Horsetooth Reservoir. And the sheriff's office says the identity of and the cause of death will be released at a later time. A Boulder man is recovering after being attacked by a bear. CPW says the man was walking his two dogs along High Street on Sunday night. A bear and her cub reportedly charged the man, and he fell while running away. The bear then slashed him across the back, leaving superficial wounds. Rangers were unable to find the bear. CPW says residents should be vigilant about securing trash cans and reporting bear sightings as hibernation season approaches. The horrific stabbing in Charlotte prompting Geraldo to state what millions believe to be the truth.
The criminally insane, I submit, have no right, once they act out. Everybody that kills someone's crazy. I mean, I think it's crazy to kill someone. But
no,
this
I think
person
some are bad. I think some people are just bad.
He allegedly muttered racial statements that no one's talked about.
This guy's crazy.
So I'm not going to repeat them after the act.
This guy's crazy.
He had a motive. His motive was that this was a white chick. That's his motive.
Maybe.
His motive was that this is the most vulnerable, hateful to him, vile symbol to him, a blonde chick sitting in front of him in the subway.
Geraldo getting after it. The Supreme Court will hear the case, a case over whether DJT's tariffs are legal. The focus will be on 47 using a law meant for times of emergency to impose the duties without help of Congress. The High Court agreed to take two different cases that cover most of the tariffs. DJT addresses right outside Joe's Seafood last night. The media was following him, and he addresses the phony birthday card to Epstein, which was probably created by political opponents.
Birthday letter
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time know that's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time. All you do is trying to get off the great success of D.C. and about 200 other things we've done that are so successful. This is a great, great success, and we have so many. I don't think any president in their first 8 months has had anywhere near the success that we've had.
Will you meet with the Epstein victims? Do you plan to meet with?
I don't know about. Nobody suggested that. Certainly, I don't like that whole situation with respect to anybody being abused or hurt. But I haven't even thought about that. Thank you all very much. Have a good time. Thank you.
President Trump says that Hezbollah has released a Princeton PhD student, Elizabeth Zerkab, who was kidnapped more than 2 years ago. Qatar vowing retaliation after Israeli forces launched strikes in Doha targeting Hamas leaders linked to the 2023 attack on Israel. Hamas says 5 members were killed, but its leadership survived. Qatar's prime minister calls the strike barbarism and says his country will respond decisively to any attack on its territory. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell, man, all of these women getting in trouble recently, man. Wow, and they're Democrats. Imagine that. Appearing in federal court today, accused of using criminal means to cover up a romantic relationship with a police officer assigned to protect her. She faces charges of wire fraud, obstruction of justice, and lying to a grand jury. It's the first time a sitting mayor in the city's history has faced criminal prosecution, which is absolutely shocking to me. In New Orleans, that's the first time? Wow. Viral video shows a brawl in the stands at SoFi Stadium, speaking of new bright and shiny stadiums in the NFL, during the Rams-Texans game over the weekend.
Witnesses say several men and women started fighting in the upper deck during the fourth quarter of the Rams' victory. After the punches stopped, the video shows a woman in a Texans jersey with a bloody face. A person holding a toddler also appeared to get involved in the fight. The Inglewood Police Department says it has not received any official reports about the fight. I'm Daniel Martindale.
For the love of God. Unbelievable. 54 in Golden, 58 in Aurora, 57 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. It is Wednesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Low pressure over the Pacific Northwest will slowly migrate eastward in the days ahead, keeping a moist, mild southwest wind flow into Colorado, keeping temperatures warm and giving us a daily chance through Saturday. For afternoon and evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Highs will be 80s, overnight lows 50s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Big news coming from the Broncos. Want to play it, Billy? Big announcement.
Denver Broncos are going back to the Super Bowl.
It's the greatest facility for the greatest fans.
It's our goal to have world-class facilities for this team and for our fans, obviously with the rich tradition and history at Mile High, and find something that the fans would love as a site that had proximity to that and Denver. We couldn't be more excited about Burnham Yard as the preferred site to build a new stadium and an incredible year-round destination.
One of our goals is to be a really good partner across the community. We really have tried to do that since we arrived 3 years ago, aspiring to be the best team to play for, to work for, and to cheer for. We want to create an amazing venue for our fans as well as for our players.
The first time we stepped on the site, there was a real appeal going back to the history of Burnham Yard and the rail, which is an important part of Colorado history.
It's not something that will just have a large parking lot all around it, but really creating some place that's special that people leave and talk about and say, oh my gosh, when you come to Denver, you've got to be here at Burnham Yard.
Every kid in this state grows up loving the Broncos, and I think for people in Denver especially, it has always felt as connected to home as anything that they know. We're all willing to work hard for something that's bigger than any one of us, and that was where I think the state, the city, the Broncos said the win-win-win here is a way to support Denver neighborhoods, keep a storied franchise in Denver, and drive economic opportunity for generations to come.
Here in Colorado, we're Broncos country, and Denver is the beloved home of a team that means so much to us. It means memories with our grandparents going to games. When we had the opportunity to show Greg and Carrie the property, they really saw a greater vision, a potential for a future, not only home with the Denver Broncos, but also all the great ways to activate it with businesses and restaurants and opportunities.
The Broncos have committed to a full community benefits agreement process in lockstep with the city, with local organizations, neighborhood representatives, to talk about what's needed for a long-term vision for the connectivity between Burnham Yard, the existing Lama Lincoln Park neighborhood, Baker neighborhood, and vicinity.
We got a long way to go. We've got to roll up our sleeves, get to work. I think it's really important to have an open and transparent process as we go through the next couple years of planning. We'll get lots of input from others in the community, and we're looking forward to that.
Broncos country is incredibly loyal, and so really making sure that we're doing the right thing for our players and for our fans, but also for the city of Denver and for the community that we're a part of.
All right, that's the Broncos announcement that Burnham Yards is their preferred site for redevelopment of the stadium. Blake, your thoughts?
The first things that come to mind for me, guys, I think it's great that number one, that it's on the east side of I-25.
Yes.
Inside kind of that loop. Now, unfortunately, we're going to probably have to smell that pot smoke at 6th Avenue and I-25.
Right.
Unless we tear that down along with as we build the stadium. But I digress. Number one, now you can have a Super Bowl in Denver because of the retractable roof in the dome. So that is huge. You can have college regular season classic games. I mean, like AT&T Stadium in Dallas, where they have, big rivalry college games that take place during the season as well. Those are the two things that come to mind for me. Along with, now, Billy brings up the parking, and you guys were talking about that. That's kind of depressing. I think the tailgate with the vehicles and the RVs and all that, that's a cool part of football and before the game. And then what also comes to mind, you're going to have this ultra modern, unbelievable facility and stadium in a great, what could be a really cool place. With the city skyline in the background and inside the loop. But I thought of Buckhorn Exchange, historic restaurant. You're going to have that spaceship right next to one of the oldest, if not the oldest restaurant.
Number one liquor
right?
license in Colorado is
Yes.
the Buckhorn Exchange right there.
Yeah, yes. And then on the tables, what I love, you have that little area below your table if you've never been to the Buckhorn Exchange where you can put your pistol right in there. So I love the fact that the Buckhorn Exchange is going to be right near Burnham Yards. Then I was also thinking about the creative things that Billy likes to think about also. And you as well, Jeff. Burnham, I can see the alternate jersey, okay, the Burnham Yard, the Burnham Orange alternate jersey. Okay, instead of burn orange. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
I was thinking about that. And also for receivers, it's pretty cool because, you burn the defensive back and you burn them. It's going to be Burnham Yard for the receivers as far as the X's and O's go.
That's nice.
Yeah, you burn them Yard. So I could see that happening. I'm going to go try to trademark that. So when the T-shirts come out with the receivers.
I think that's
like
great.
I like it.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, Blake, do you give the move a 10?
As long as taxpayers aren't footing the bill, I give it a 10.
That's a big component of it. Privately financed.
Give it a 10.
$4
I give
billion.
it a 10. Whatever you want to do to clean up that mess down there, that's awesome. It's going to be great. And they could be creative with Mile High Stadium across the street, depending on what they do. But I give it a 10. I think it's great.
Oh, all right, Mr. Thorpe.
Yeah, Mile High, that's going to turn into condos, things like that. I'm at about a 7, and I'm only that high because it is going to be privately financed. And this is a pain point that it's personal because my family's longtime Broncos season ticket owners, and I'm certain that because we are doing privately financed, there are going to be personal seat licenses attached to this. Because they're going to try to recoup some of their investment. They can't get it from the taxpayers. They're going to try to get it from the people that are already, have those seats. And that is a difficult proposition for me, not just because of the ask of the money, but it is paying to have the permission to buy the tickets. The hell is that about? I mean, the idea of, imagine paying a cover charge just to walk into a restaurant. No. You pay us $150 just to walk through the door. Then you can sit down and tell us whether or not you want to order from the menu. Pardon me? I mean, imagine a cover charge walking into a movie theater. $25 get through the door, then you can buy tickets to go see the theater. Wait, hold on. Hold on here. There are very few times in our lives that we would ever acquiesce to that kind of a shakedown. Yet in this, you're going to have to, because you've got 100,000 people that are on the waiting list for the Broncos season ticket holders. And what they look at is, if it's not you, next man up. So it's not going to matter to them. They're going to try to find people that'll pay. The question is, what are those seat licenses going to run? In the neighborhood, you're probably looking at somewhere, again, depending on where they are and what they're looking at. Price tag's going to run you between minimum of $1,000, top end, probably $80,000. Again, huge range, but it's going to be different. If you have a club level seat, that's going to be more expensive. If you have a bottom bowl level seat, more expensive. If you're up in the top in the 500s, less expensive. But you're still going to have to pony up just for the privilege of paying for the seats you already are paying for. That, to me, is absolutely crazy, and I think that's ridiculous. So, but I don't think there's anything you can do at that point as far as they've got you over a barrel. What you going to do about it? Because they've got enough people behind you that'll probably end up paying that. So, if not you, then who? If you walk to that restaurant and they say it's $150 to get in, and you're there with your family, and they say I've got a line of 200 people behind you, and there are 50 tables inside, what do? Do you pay the $150, or do you try to go, or just say nope, I'm not eating? That's the problem. That's the issue. Yeah, I think the location is fine. I think the city is going to have to come clean on the land. There's probably, because it's an old rail yard, there's probably going to be some environmental stuff they're going to have to do, and I don't think they've tagged that price tag in there yet. But that's going to be something the taxpayers are going to have to do, and of course there's going to be some roads and those improvements around there. But I think you're going to get an area for tailgating, and I think you're going to get premium parking, and that's it. I do not think, unless they want to go with a large underground parking structure, they just don't have the footprint for somewhere like a mile high. And so for that type of acreage of parking lots. But if you do a large underground parking structure, that means everybody gets in a big line to get out at the end. And that's going to be a pain point. So that I'm real curious about. But I'm certain, because of the monetary incentive attached to it, they'll have spaces for tailgaters. That'll exist. And then there's going to be people that can pay because you own those boxes. That you'll have that seating. Other than that, the regular riffraff, you guys are going to probably have to hoof it. That's probably what's going to have to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something that exists over at the existing Mile High location that then you take light rail or some sort of transportation to there. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's where they built a large underground parking structure. Underground, so they can put stuff on top of it because they want condos. They needed to produce tax revenue. So I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not going to be at the site. I'm almost certain of that one. They don't have the footprint, and they're not going to do that. The other one that's real excited for me, and Adam doing the video down there, we get a dome stadium that's this large and it's this new. Yeah, yes. We're getting to WrestleMania. We'll get a WrestleMania. I'm excited about that. Or a summer. We don't have to worry about SummerSlam. WrestleMania, because of the time of the year. Yeah, we can get a WrestleMania now, so I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I imagine that part of the calculations, and Blake, I know you've got other stuff to do. If you got to step away, go ahead by all means. But the fact that you can't have concerts at Mile High for like 6 months out of the year, or at least 4 months out of the year, because it's just so exposed. Taylor Swift's not coming to do a concert in January at Mile High. So this will open up year-round opportunities. And to Blake's point, the fact this is on the east side of I-25, there's always been this barrier that I-25 has served for the city of Denver, where stuff that happens on the west side of I-25 just feels like it's almost in a totally different city than what happens on the east side of I-25. So let me walk you through where this is going to be. Adam's pulling it up there, which is just fantastic.
Also, wanted
to
say something. Mark Crowley talking to my ear, and he's right about this. When we're talking about parking, he said the light rail in the parking structure, there's already a bunch of that exists down near the current mile-high light rail station. So he said they already have a lot of those because right in that station, if you've ever done that walk down the walkway to the actual stadium, there's a whole bunch of parking right there as well underneath that bridge and the viaducts. So that stays there. So that I think he's right that they're going to have the riffraff park over at the old Mile High and then take the train in. Because, again, that gets you to Mike Johnston and Jared Polis's renewable energy using public transportation thing. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
All right, so Burnham Yards runs from West 13th Avenue, so think 13th on the north side, and then goes essentially down under 8th, under 6th. So those are all kind of flyover roads if you want to know exactly where Burnham is, down to 3rd. 4th Avenue. 4th Avenue, 3rd Avenue. Right now, it's not a highly developed place. If you've ever driven downtown, particularly on, is it Calma? I thought it was, yeah. Is it Kalamath Street? I don't know how you pronounce that. I thought it was Kalamath Street. But 6th Avenue is the flyover there. And then I-25 runs just along the west side of where this is going to be. So best kind of on the map, 6th Avenue, I-25, where those intersect is real close to where this is all going to be. This is primarily an industrial part of town. So this will be a whole new change for that entire area. You got to imagine. I mean, they've got, I'm looking at the businesses they currently have there. They got a garage door company. They got the public storage taking place there. You've got Atlas Metal and Iron Corp. You got electric companies. You actually have a company called the Junkyard down there in that area. So it'll probably revitalize all of it. If you own some property there, well done. Well done. It's going to turn out well. On the north side of that, you have Metro's fields. They're soccer fields, baseball fields, tennis, all that. So I think it's a pretty good move. Is it better than Lone Tree and Aurora, Bill?
Yeah, probably is. One, it would be hard, if you yank it outside of Aurora. If you're yanking it outside of Denver, it's difficult because then you have that idea of it's always you kind of in the NFL, you make fun of the Giants for going into the Meadowlands and playing in Jersey. You're called the New York Giants. Same thing with the Jets. And you play in Jersey. Yeah. So you can always poke fun at them that way. And I think it's important for the tax base and the revenue. I think that is the most logical place to put it simply because of access to the highway and access to light rail, because that already exists and you don't have to have major improvements like you would at other locations. So, yeah, and probably the land is the cheapest. So this is probably the best place. And while it hurts my Bronco heart, being a longtime fan, putting a dome over the top of it, that can be retractable is probably the best. It's not going to have the same feeling, but at least in the middle of December, when you're out there for about 4 or 5 hours, at least you'll be able to still feel your toes and your fingies. So, okay, fine. I think it will improve the actual experience and the value of going to the game. Plus, it'll make it more multi-use because you can get those large events. In theory, you could even pitch the idea of hosting an NCAA Final Four or something like that because of having that large area. I mean, you really could do something with it there. So depending on what you want to do.
Political conventions?
Yeah.
Maybe even those two?
That could be done too. Yeah, that's a lot of it because of that roof. I'm super curious, though, about what the technology for that roof is going to look like because we haven't seen a lot of these done in the NFL recently. There's some in soccer stadiums and others, but I'm curious about what that technology is.
Does it have to be retractable? Could it just be a straight-up covered roof?
They've said it's going to be retractable.
They did.
Yeah,
okay.
and I think because of longtime Bronco fans, we as Denver fans want to have the outside air and want to have that, especially this time of year. When you get, September, October, even mid part of November, it's not a problem until late November, December, and January. So that'll be it. But the other thing is we're getting a stadium. Question I've got on the retractable roof is based on what they've done at SoFi. is it going to be partially clear? So even when it's closed, you can still, get sunlight and things like that down below. I'm curious about that one. The other one is the grass is going to be an issue because right now, based on how the retractable roofs work, you can't grow NFL regulation grass. You don't get enough sunshine. There are some problems. They deal with this in stadiums like Arizona by literally rolling up the grass like a giant carpet and then rolling it back out somewhere else and taking care of it and then rolling it up for game days and then coming out and rolling it down in the stadium. So that's probably what the Broncos are going to end up doing is we're going to have this retractable sort of grass that's going to happen there, which honestly makes it a heck of a lot better when you're going to host big events like a concert or a WrestleMania. Yes, I'm going to come back to that one again. But if you can pick up the grass and move it, now you're not worried about all of those thousands of people trampling on your playing surface. So there's another advantage. And even if you're holding a political convention, you don't have to worry about all of those people in their, fancy loafers or their high heels poking spikes into your grass down there on the field. Or you don't have to worry about putting stanchions over the top of it. They can kill the grass. So, yeah, this is going to be positive.
We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line, 720-819-5115. Broncos naming Burnham Yards their preferred site for new stadium development. Are you excited about it? Are you going to miss the old location for Mile High? Would you have preferred it be in Aurora, Lone Tree, maybe somewhere else? Would love to hear from you. Give us a call. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Talking the Broncos announcement that Burnham Yard is their preferred site for the new stadium development. That is right downtown. Literally more downtown than the current Broncos Stadium, which is on the west side of I-25. I'm intrigued by these kind of boundaries that I think that exist in our minds. And maybe they don't exist in your minds, but they do in mine. Northern Denver feels way different than southern Denver. Like, it just, when you get up to Arvada, you start heading up I-25, it just feels sometimes like you're in just a totally different place.
Well,
sometimes
the suburbs, the suburbs have a different feel to them all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think if you moved the stadium either way out east, which could give you more land development, you get more parking, but as you pointed out, you'd have to build in a lot more infrastructure.
Yeah, and it's way.
You go down Lone Tree, and you could pull from Colorado Springs. Now you've kind of opened that whole new audience up. But northern Denver, northern parts of Colorado, feels like there's a barrier there that you would have to cross through Denver and then get all the way to the south side, basically to Castle Rock, before you would get to the stadium. So,
yeah,
I think it's a pretty wise decision.
Yeah, I think it's central. I think it does what they need it to. And also, land is going to be less expensive, and it's closer to the major thoroughfares. I think now we had someone on the text messages that talked about it wanting to look like a Lucas Oil Stadium. It's okay. That's a good one. I think that SoFi Field in LA is going to be the inspiration. I think that's what we're going to see.
I agree with that.
Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the stadium is actually partially sunken. And what I mean by that is they dig, and then field level and most of the first level are all underground. And then the rest of the stadium goes up from there. The reason I'm saying that is because of sight lines, is housing and development around there. What you don't want to do is have to build a large complex, apartment building, condos, shopping area, and have this big giant stadium blocking your view of everything. And that was the solution inside of LA. And also because of flight paths and some other stuff. But I think that's what's going to happen, is this thing's going to be sunk a little bit. And that also, if you understand, there's some things that you can actually improve your heating and cooling bills based on sinking part of the stadium as well, because it can be cheaper to heat and cool the stadium at different parts of the year. So it would make sense. I think that's what's going to happen, that the stadium's going to be partially sunken, and you'll actually have to walk down into the lower bowl, and it'll fit the profile and the sight line there a lot better. I think SoFi is what you're going to see.
I think that's right. 6633 texting back in. SoFi, though, is so modern. The history teacher in me is hoping for a shout out to the classic Denver because of the location.
I wish that it would do that to the texter. I wish that we were building something that had the personality of a Coors Field, but we're not. And the example is you build Coors and Mile High about the same time, and now one ownership thinks that Mile High is old and we need to redo it, where the other ownership knows that Coors Field's the only reason people are showing up. It's the only reason people are still paying money to go see that baseball team play. And I wish we would do that. I wish we would hearken back to a style that could embrace the modern technology but look old, where you could have this. Here's one thing that I'm going to take this from what they're doing up at CSU right now and during the football games. And because it's Burnham Yard, there are two things here. One, I think there's going to be a push to talk about the new stadium being Burnham Yard or the area. So it'll be Mile High Stadium at Burnham Yard, or they're going to try to make it the new stadium just to be called Burnham Yard. Go see them at Burnham Yard. I think that's going to be a
they
marketing
won't drop
thing.
Mile High.
It's going to be hard. Well, here's the thing is, the ownership, they'll drop it like a hot potato. That's not a problem. It's whether or not the fans will. Because, again, the Bolins came in and said, it's Invesco Field at Mile High.
Exactly.
And we went, no,
now
it's not.
It's Empower. Now, I remember when there was a weed company that wanted to buy the naming rights.
I was like, let's just go
to
for it.
being
Why
very
not?
high.
Yeah.
Right? Why
yeah,
not?
exactly. Why not? So I think that's going to be part of it that they're going to have down there. I would love to see it be sort of a blend. With CSU, recently they have started a tradition at all different parts. I have some, kids and family up there. they say that they have been blowing a train horn during portions of the game. And sometimes it's when they score touchdowns. CSU doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, so they've taken to blowing it at other times of the game just because they want to blow the horn.
Just to
it's really
toot
loud.
their own horn?
Yeah,
so to
exactly.
speak?
Exactly. Nicely done. I appreciate that one. I think that it would be cool, because it's Burnham Yard, to incorporate some sort of a train whistle or train signal.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it'd be neat. I think that would be a neat callback to whatever it is, but you have to figure out
But
where.
who has a historical connection to the trains at Burnham Yard? Wasn't it all just industrial trains?
Yeah, I know.
You never took a passenger train to Burnham Yard.
No, but the idea that it sits in an old railway, and
Yeah.
you do have old railway. Even, downtown Denver used to have cable cars. So there is this kind of like railway history inside of Denver that, again, you could. And also what I'm looking for is, I want something that's a sound that is identifiable for that stadium that you can hear through the TV. It's like, can you sit there and you're watching TV and they're playing at home and you can hear the crowd go incomplete, and then you hear the horse? Yeah, you know where you are.
Yes.
And when you hear the Vikings chant Skol, you know where you are regardless of looking at the TV. I want another one of those, audiological monikers that we can use inside the stadium. And I think a train whistle at certain times would be absolutely fantastic.
So when the Broncos were sold to the current ownership group, there were complaints, right?
Yeah.
You got this kind of corporate, Walmart-connected
Yes.
operation that's going to go on now. It was previously run by the Bolin family. Is this where being connected to a very wealthy corporate operation could likely lead to something that a family operation could never achieve?
Oh, heck yeah. I think, yeah, absolutely, I would say so. Because only deep pockets. They
God,
have the
this
ability
thing's
to
going to go
leverage.
$4 billion at
Yeah.
least, and it's going to be entirely privately funded.
Yeah, that's the amazing part, is very few. And we were talking about it earlier, that I felt for the new ownership to start to have the fan base put their arms around them, this is a gigantic step forward.
I agree.
This is huge. The only one that would probably do more to create some good feelings between the fan base and the new ownership would be a Super Bowl. And we're not getting there anytime soon from what I see, but I'm not an expert. But I think this is one, saying, hey, we're not asking you to pay for it. We're going to build a new home for the team, and we're paying for it. This goes a long way for generating some good feelings between the fan base and the new ownership. A lot of trust, too, I think, depending on how this turns out.
So speaking of generating good feelings,
Yes.
Owners of the Broncos, just get in
Yes.
close here. Listen, and take a look at your screen right now, okay? And ask yourself, is there anybody else from the other radio station that carries Broncos that's dressed like this morning? That's celebrating your decision? That's excited about the future of the Broncos? There might just be a passing story on that other station, but here we're happy for you. Bill and I happy to cover any Broncos games you might need.
Yeah, anything you need.
Anything you need. We're there for you, and you got commitment here. We're for you, Denver Broncos. But congratulations, big news. Broncos announcing that the Burnham Yard location is their preferred site for development. We'll continue. We got YouTube's news coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Bill, this brings up a good question that Gabe does. Where is that new women's soccer stadium going to be in light of this?
Dove Valley. It's in the Dove Valley area. That's where it's going to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do something downtown.
Yeah. No, I don't think they. I think there's a secondary. The new one, the one they're going to play in right now is out near Dove Valley, but I don't know where I forget where the secondary one is. They're talking about building.
I thought they were going to put that near that rail yard too. So maybe
they could, but I don't know where. Yeah. But
run it out of spot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's that time of your Wednesday. We know you're all looking forward to. Bills, you choose the news.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we get to be a little silly because nobody in charge awakens until 7 o'clock. That gives us about a 10-minute window here. It's time for America's favorite fake radio news game show. You choose the news. I've spent just moments this morning scouring the interwebs to find really dumb stories about us humans and giving them even more ridiculous headlines so that we can play this fake radio news game show. And as always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Gentlemen, here are your headline choices. Headline number 1, sodium-sensitive prankster. Headline number 2, learning a new word. Headline number 3, just a message. And headline number 4, tech bro fight club. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Let's learn a new word, please.
Yes, let's learn a new word. Jeff's going to regret this here in a second. All righty.
Every day of my life.
Yes. Okay. A doctor has revealed some concerning side effects on a new medical procedure that is reportedly on the rise. Typically, people are getting plastic surgery because they want to feel more confident, fixing things they don't like about their appearance. Well, this new one is going to reduce wrinkles, make you look younger, and even change some features. Yes, guys, it's time to embrace the Scrotox. Yes, the possibility of injecting botulinum toxin into your scrotum. Doesn't that sound fun? Or is it a threat by an enemy? I don't know. Google searches have shot up more than 46,000% for a Scrotox.
In your life. Nope.
Yes. But why? Mike T., senior director at the Harley Street Skin Clinic, admits that, yes, he sticks needles into men's genitalia and says about 80% of patients are seeking an aesthetic result rather than addressing a purely medical concern.
What? What?
Yes, they want to,
Dude,
and he says,
who cares?
Here are the 3 reasons men are concerned about it. The question I've got is, who you showing and who's commenting on it?
Yeah,
That's a whole nother question.
seriously.
Yes, whole other conversation here. They say that Dr. T says that people are showing up to reduce wrinkles or creases in the scrotal skin to make it appear smoother. It's very weird. To treat sweating of the skin, which causes discomfort or irritation, and also to temporarily increase the size. Rawr. Yes. Now, the botulinum toxin is generally safe. However, you are injecting it into your junk. Now, there are some side effects that it can include things like asymmetry, so meaning one of the little boys could be larger than the other. Also, allergic reactions, rashes, dizziness. Also, you could get to anaphylactic shock because of it as well. Also, because you're injecting spider venom into your nether regions, urinary and sexual dysfunction can happen if the toxin spreads too deeply.
It's spider venom? Did I miss that?
No, it is. Yeah, Botox is spider venom. Yeah. That's where they derive it from.
What?
Yeah, it's spider venom.
Interesting.
Yeah, botulinum toxin is spider venom. Yeah, that's how it is. That's why it paralyzes. That's what it is. It's a paralyzation. Yeah, but again, realize
what?
This is a bunch of dudes that think the scrot is too wrinkly. I'm just saying that at least a bunch of them didn't decide to iron.
Wait, what is this called again? I'm sorry. What's the word?
Scrotox.
Okay.
Word of the day.
Scrotox. You know there's going to be a redneck that will take $20 to just kick you down there.
Yeah, exactly. Say, hey, won't feel anything after that. I just, because it's wrinkly? Who are you showing that says that's awfully wrinkly? I mean, who's critiquing this? So many questions.
Sounds like a good new sponsor for a stadium.
Yeah, there we go. Scrotox Stadium. And you know what they could do? They could start it out with the little deflated NFL ball. It's all wrinkly. Like with Scrotox, and it goes, that's big. Yes. No wrinkles. It's big. Maximum. Yes, that's exactly it. Scrotox Stadium.
At Burnham Yard.
Yes, I should not be allowed in public. I should not be allowed in public at all. This is awful.
Burnham.
Yes,
Scrotox.
burn 'em. My Scrotox burns. Yes. During the game, they could have some sort of a sponsor.
There's your sound effect after
there
touchdowns.
We go. Yes. You could have
forget the train horn.
Just the picture of Peyton Manning with a deflated football.
No, it has to be Peyton Manning, and next to him is Tom Brady, and Tom Brady hands him the deflated football.
Bill Belichick, yeah.
Belichick.
Yeah, Bill Belichick has to do it.
He'd be the perfect.
Yes.
He'd be the perfect one. Him and Jordan there.
Yeah. Now the other one is the other one is that during the stadium, sponsorship, you can have that thing, that shout out where you give away something in the stands, and it could be, it's time for the third quarter giveaway. Oh, there is so and so up there in the 300s. Look, she's standing there with John Smith of Aurora. John, you have won a free Scrochox procedure, or private first class Johnson can kick you in the Johnson. Which one are you going to go for? There are a whole bunch of things we can do. There's so many opportunities here.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, we got to stop. Okay, back to the game show. Okay, Blake. Sodium-sensitive prankster, Tech Bro Fight Club, or just a message?
Tech Bro Fight Club.
Tech Bro Fight Club. Here we find ourselves in San Francisco. The Bay Area, according to the Tech Bros, is completely and totally effed based on the male-to-female ratio. The Tech Bros are complaining they can't get a date. Maybe it's more about you than them. Because if you look at the demographics, it's just about even. There are about 429,000 men and just over 406,000 females in the area. In the age bracket, the men outweigh the women by about 1,000. So, yeah, guys, it's more about you than them. However, they tried to prove their manhood recently in a park in San Francisco. It was the duel to the death. Organizer Danielle Egan preached through a megaphone, dressed in referee's uniform. What if there were just less men? Is it really a problem that you can't get a date? It was a playful gladiator-style spectacle wherein tech bros competed to supposedly increase their chances of finding a lucky lady. Yes. Basically, they stood around and they punched each other with fake boxing gloves and blow-up hammers and pool noodles to eventually name the bestest and most accomplished fighter of the tech bros. I just enjoyed some of the names. There were things like weaponized autism and daddy bones. I just appreciate the names of them. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Very creative.
Yes, exactly. All right, final choice this morning, Jeff. Sodium-sensitive prankster or just a message?
Just a message.
Just a message. A suspect in the killing of a Texas flight attendant has implicated himself because he left a voicemail. Family members and friends of Rihanna Nofi Solori, 47, had heard from her. Well, she was killed by her then roommate, 66, who left a message for his accomplice, 62-year-old Joni Thomas, and is saying things like, this is heavy. Help me move this. I'm stuck. Turn it sideways. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I got you messed up into this. Yeah, they're going to be able to use his own voicemail as proof of him killing her. So, all right. That's the end of your Tuesday News. Back to you, sir.
You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.